And so the EEH experience, next slide, it really has been a process of helping the stakeholders to look at themselves, to analyze, to own what's happening around them. Stop blaming anybody else, but own it. And then, how are we going to solve this and do it? It requires this level of ownership that includes creating, keeping, abandoning as well, and responding to the personal commitments to achieve. This happens with the students, with the teachers, with parents, with the principals, with the school board, and to plan for continuously improve and to sustain the effective practices that you have gained. So that's us in a nutshell. Some of those key changes that have taken place, and I've put a from and to, and we're still in this mode. And as you can well imagine, different schools are at different levels. But this whole thing of externalizing everything, not taking ownership, to a position of internalizing it. But this is my class. When I analyze my student data, these children have not touched this aspect of the curriculum. That's my responsibility. It's not that the parents didn't help them with homework. I just haven't taught. You know? So it's stop blaming others, stop blaming the ministry because they should have put up this building and they should have done that. On this project, we have trained every school and NGO how to write for grants, how to do grant writing, how to approach private sector entities and international entities to support what you're doing, how to write a school improvement plan that can win over souls. It's about doing the job. It's not about doing the job that this is my position and this is all I'm going to do, but it's about achieving the result that you want for your school. It's not about working in a silo or working in my area, but it's collaborating in communities, learning communities. And it's not about telling that you should do this, but engaging everyone. So with that, I'm going to move straight into the challenges from Latin America. And as I said, I'm just going to respond to those things that impact what we do as a project. The curriculum policy. The Jamaican approach involves engaging teachers, principals, and the community, working together to define and refine goals. It is not a hand-me-down. It's a collaborative process. And on the slide dealing with rapid growth, it has not been our experience. As I mentioned, we use database decisions to drive what it is we do, and it allows the freedom of our teachers to align the curriculum, the learning process in the classroom to the curriculum. I also wanted to share that the Jamaican budget through the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Education allocates for national assessments, and we assess throughout the school system starting at grade 1 all the way through to grade 9, and then there's the high school CSEC test. So we do not share that same challenge. On another matter, again, I mentioned the using data to drive decisions. On this project, we experience the fact that nationally, the ministry tests at grade 3. There's a diagnostic test that happens at grade 3. At grade 4, in numeracy in particular, where students are exposed to the rules of mathematics, no test is done at that time, not until grade 6. This project, the Expanding Educational Horizons project, embarked on using the curriculum to develop a test at grade 4. And we collaborated with the Student Assessment Unit of the Ministry of Education. The output of that is that test, we implemented it in our own schools, and the ministry has now adopted that test, and it was rolled out nationally to every primary school in the island. So this project has contributed a grade 4 test in numeracy to the ministry. The tool that we use to manage our school and student data, we call it JSAS. It's Jamaica School Administrative System. And it does a census, student census, teacher census, school data, everything. It generate school reports, end-of-term reports, transcripts. It's a very powerful tool, and we're in the process. Our teachers have not been in the habit of analyzing their data to drive their own interventions in the classroom. And this is one area where the project is really engaged, working with teachers from grade 1, looking at the grade 1 individual profile, learning profile, and looking at weaknesses that have surfaced, and directly addressing those weaknesses. The same thing happens at grade 3, now at grade 4, and at grade 6. Next slide, please. And so, as in your slide, continuing the process, we recognize that there are similarities between the Latin American experience and Jamaican experience, the stakeholder collaboration to develop and implement and enhance. On the matter of disappointing outcomes, my own assessment is that could it mean that the existing policies had not been implemented? You know, the secret may lay in the implementation and not in the guidelines.
And yes, you mentioned having a census for students and so forth. I already mentioned that our software tool captures exactly that. And I'm proud to share with this audience that the Ministry of Education has been searching for such a software. We have been using this software since 2001, and we keep upgrading the software. We're presently upgrading it so that it's web-enabled and so that there's a central repository that can pull in the information from this database. We're launching it next week in 11 institutions, project institutions. And already there is a very keen interest by the Ministry of Education to adopt this in all schools.
We recognize that the process involves internalizing what's happening and then utilizing the equipment, the support, the training, everything that you get, and implementing. And those are my brief comments, and it's over to you to add to those comments. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you, Dr. Beaumont. That was an excellent job of staying reasonably within the time boundaries. Probably as good as any of us this morning. Okay, we have some time for discussion. And please raise your hands and let me know anybody who would like to say something, but it's important.
They can just press the button.
Oh, you can just press the button? Apparently I'll see that. I don't know this system very well. But I want to say two things. You can either make a statement or ask a question. But first you need to say your name. And secondly, the institution, just the institution you're with. And then please make it short, because we want to allow as many people to say something who would like to say something. So this should be brief, brief, brief. Yeah.
My name is Claire Spence from USAID. And this may be just a comment, but it has to do, we have spoken a lot this morning about performance management culture. And when we think of the gains that have already been made in public administration and the introduction of executive agencies as part of the new public management, and the fact that the chief executive officers of executive agencies have performance management contracts, and they deliver on SMART goals, and they have a performance management culture already. And therefore my question is, why has it been so difficult for our education system to copy something that has worked so well?
Thank you. We'll take a few more questions or comments, and then we'll ask our speakers to respond. Yes.